It's playoffs. It is playoffs. If you've made it, this is when it gets serious. See, when I lose in the regular season, it hurts. I don't like to lose. But losing in the playoffs just hits a little bit different because there is no tomorrow. There is no next game. This is it. Delete the app. We're done. And this is That Guy Jig Sports Podcast. I am him, JIG. We're talking fantasy football playoffs today. We're strictly talking play. If you did not make the playoffs, feel free to listen. But I'm not talking to people that aren't in it for the win. That's not in it for the pot. That's who this is for. It's for the ones that want a good Christmas and not a light Christmas. You know what I mean? So here we go. We're diving in. And if this week, because we have NFL football on Saturday this week, so if this week is going to be anything like Thursday Night Football, which was a straight beatdown of the Los Angeles Chargers, I don't understand how Brandon Staley still has a job. I don't understand how he made it off the field and was allowed back in the locker room. But that's neither here nor there. If you had an Oakland Raider tonight, you're happy. If you had Jacoby Myers, you're happy. Devontae Adams, you're happy. Zaire White, you're happy. Michael Mayer, you're happy. Aiden O'Connell, you're happy. The Raiders defense, you're happy. If you had a Las Vegas Raider, you're happy. It was a good night to be a Raider. The week after not scoring a point, they set a franchise record in points. And if you're the Chargers, and especially if you're a Austin Eckler fantasy football guy, if you have him on your team, you're thinking, what the hell? I thought this was going to be a difference-making year for you, Austin. And here we are. So starting with the Saturday game with the Vikings and the Bengals. Now this game right here, you got two featured wide receivers, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. Now after that, you got TJ Hawkinson, Ty Chandler. With Addison being out, Ty Chandler is going to be more involved. But you got Nick Mullins under center now. Josh Dobbs is not even the backup. He's the third string. He put Justin Jefferson in the hospital, and they told him, you can stay at home this week. So they have Nick Mullins starting. He's definitely a game manager, folks. He's definitely a game manager. So Jake Browning is definitely the better of the two quarterbacks on Saturday. He is definitely going to be the better of the two quarterbacks. Joe Mixon is going to be in play. Chase Brown, if you need a streamer, Chase Brown is in play. Hudson is in play. I wouldn't mind playing the Bengals defense, especially against Nick Mullins. He hasn't played in a minute. So it's going to be interesting to see. We saw what he did with the 49ers, but the 49ers have elite weapons. The Vikings have good weapons. So everybody in this game to me is still kind of in play. I'm not too worried about it, but I will say this. If you have a Viking, if you have a Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson, just remember, I wouldn't expect a shootout. Steelers and Colts, everyone's in play. The usual suspects. For the Steelers, you hope this offense can get some type of traction. The Colts defense is improved. The Steelers defense is all right, but Gardner Minshew is slinging it, so you're comfortable. You're comfortable with the guys that are playing. Sidebar. A lot of things change before these games kick off. So when I release this podcast, which is on Friday, things happen between Friday and Sunday. One thing I will ask is that you do your due diligence and make sure players are still playing. I'm going off the facts of what they do. Sometimes players don't play as far as injuries. Make sure you're keeping up with your injury report is the gist of it. Broncos and the Lions. Now, this one can low-key be a high-scoring game. Lions defense is improved, but it's still kind of suspect. Broncos defense is improved, but it's still suspect. Big game for the Broncos. One game behind the Chiefs for a division game. But as far as fantasy football, Cortland Sutton's in play. Jerry Jeudy, you hope you can play him. But remember, if you play Jerry Jeudy, you are depending on a touchdown. Jerry Jeudy is not going to get the volume in which you seek to just play him. If you play Jerry Jeudy, you're looking for a touchdown and about 3 catches and maybe 40 yards. That's what you're looking for. With the Lions, look for them to try to get back going. St. Brown, Montgomery, Gibbs, Jared Goff, get back going. Sam Laporta, quiet game last week. Look for him to get back going. This is, like I said, a low-key, high-scoring game. This game is right here. The Jets versus the Dolphins. I'm scared. I have 2 in a couple leagues, and I'm scared. The Jets' defense is playing better. The one thing that gives me hope about this matchup is Tyreek Hill. I know Tua is going to at least get at least one bomb. He'll have at least 100. He should have at least 100 yards. He'll have at least a touchdown. But as far as if you need a big play, if you need some big play, I don't know if Tua can give it to you. I don't know if this week versus that Jets defense that's pretty solid, if he'll be able to give it to you. The only thing that gives me hope is that the Dolphins defense can create turnovers versus Zach Wilson. If the Dolphins can create turnovers for Zach Wilson, extra possessions, extra opportunities, that's what we're looking for. Case in point, Thursday Night Football. The Raiders created extra opportunities, and then the Raiders cashed in. So I'm in this Dolphins and Jets game, I'm a little weary as far as the quarterback play. Skill positions, let it ride. Tyreek Hill, start. Waddle, if he's healthy, start. Raheem Mostert, start. I don't think A-Chain is playing it, so Jeff Wilson could be a factor. On the opposite side, Breece Hall, you start volume. That's sure volume. Garrett Wilson, start volume. Tyler Conklin, if you need a tight end. If Ruckert is also another one. Texans and Titans, this game right here, a lot of people for the Texans are out as far as wide receivers. Tank Dell's out for the season. I'm pretty sure Nico Collins is going to be out. Double check. Check me, don't wreck me. But I think Nico Collins is out. So if you have a Dalton Schultz, I'm sure he's playing this week. He could get a lot of targets. He could get a lot. Now, this Titans defense has not surrendered a tight end touchdown yet. But as far as volume here, folks, you might be able to get away with something. Now, the Titans, on the other hand, if Davis Mills is the starter, look for them to try to create some extra opportunities for themselves and Derrick Henry to get going. DeAndre Hopkins playing against his former team. So you know what these games are called, revenge games. So look for him to get into paint. Bucks versus the Packers. Mike Evans has to have a bounce back game. He shit the bed last week. So now he must rectify the situation. Solid pass defense the Packers have. But with how Jordan Love plays so lackadaisical at times, look for them to get maybe some extra opportunities. Look for the Buccaneers defense to possibly create some opportunities versus this Packers offense. Especially with how Jordan Love puts the ball in harm's way sometimes. Christian Watson looks like he's out. So Wicks, Reed, Dupes, these are your guys. I think Dylan's going to be playing with some type of cast. For the Buccaneers, Mike Evans, Godwin, Rashard White, these guys we know. We know. K. Dotton. So in that game, I expect everybody to be okay. But Giants and Saints. Now, the Giants have Saquon. They have Tommy. But I'm just not. Wan'Dale Robinson, if you need somebody in a deeper league, that's a guy. Jalen Hyatt has shown flashes of the speed, but we just don't know if the ball can get to him. For the Saints, Kamara, Olave, Taysom Hill could be a factor. Last week last week they held him out. This week he could be more of a factor with Derek Carr being banged up. We'll find out and we'll see. But this game, I don't see many points. But then again, Thursday Night Football wasn't supposed to be many points either. And here we are. Falcons and Panthers, if you got Falcons playmakers, look for them to have opportunities because Bryce Young is going to turn the ball over. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the offensive line. He doesn't have the skill positions for him to really be comfortable enough to put the ball where it needs to be or take the chances he needs to open up the opportunities elsewhere. See, sometimes when quarterbacks take that shot deep, that makes the defense play off, which opens up the underneath pass game. Bryce Young can't take any shots deep because he has no deep shot ability. He has no offensive line to block for him, and then he has nobody down there to go get it. Those are a recipe for disaster. So teams are sitting on the short routes. They're making them try to take longer for these longer developing plays, but he doesn't have time. The Falcons defense should create a little bit of havoc. They're a top 10 defense. Look for the skill positions of the Falcons, like I said, to get in the paint. Robinson, maybe a Tyler Algier, one of the tight ends. Like I said, it's a coin flip between the two. Drake London should get in the paint. Great game last week. No touchdowns. Look for him to get into the paint this week. Moving on, Browns and Bears. This is one of those games where if Justin Fields shows up, DJ Moore has a great game. Cole Kmet has a great game. Justin Fields has it's all on Fields about this offense. The Browns defense is no slouch. It is the best defense in the NFL, so he has to come and ready to play. Justin Fields' legs are going to be used because they have to be. That's what's going to open up that pass game, and that's what's going to allow DJ Moore to really eat. On the Browns, Amari Cooper, he's going to do his thing. Joe Flacco is a veteran quarterback, so I think he'll be able to handle and navigate these the Chicago Bears secondary. I don't see the Browns having much of a problem passing the ball nor running the ball because of Joe Flacco's veteran presence. A good vet is undefeated. A good vet is undefeated, and Joe Flacco is a good quality vet. Chiefs and Patriots. Now this game right here is a lot of talk this week about Bill Belichick and the Patriots already moving on. There's a lot of talk this week about offsides and receivers not lining up in the right place. This is a game that should be just straight football. This is for the football lover. That's what this game should be for. People who just like the game of football because both of these teams have to get right. The Chiefs have to get right. The Chiefs have to find a wide receiver they can depend on. As much as these Chiefs players want to sit there and, get upset with the media and all that good stuff, and I understand frustration. But you can't deny, and Travis Kelce even he admitted it, that they're not as good as they usually are right now. And one of the problems is that there's no receiver. There's no receiver Pat Mahomes can look at and say, I trust you, go get the ball. Tyreek Hill could have been that guy, but they let him go. So at this point, you have to find a replacement or this shit ain't going to change. Travis Kelce ain't getting no younger. So you're going to have to find something. You're going to have to find someone that can help take the pressure off of him. Because right now, the film is out. The tape is out right now. Do what you got to do on Kelce, but nobody else eats. It's tough sledding. Tough sledding. 49ers and Cardinals. Now this is a get right game. This is get your stats right. This is where Christian McCaffrey and Brock Purdy both make their case for MVP. The Cardinals, they have different motives. They have different goals. They have different things that they're looking forward to. The 49ers have already clinched their division. So at this point, it's about stats and getting everybody's bonuses right. And staying healthy for the playoffs. So look for the 49ers to jump on them quick. Get players in the paint. Get people's, in line for these incentives. If you have to play a Cardinals player tomorrow, on Sunday, I feel bad for you. Because this is a very tough matchup against a very tough defense. Even the elite offenses is hard to play against this defense because they're just that good. Commanders and Rams, Sam Howell and this Commanders offense have got to figure it out. Terry McLaurin, last time he touched the field, had 0 catches. So I assume that maybe they start the game off with like a quick screen to him just to get him, catching the ball. I assume they try to get him, 7 to 8 targets. This game could be turned into a high-scoring affair just because of how efficient the Rams can get and how efficient Matthew Stafford can be. And this Commanders defense is not it's not what it once was, and it's very vulnerable right now. And the Rams are fighting for a playoff spot. They're trying to make a quick playoff push. So I like all the playmakers for both teams. I like Puka, I like Cooper Kupp, I like Kyren Williams. The tight ends on either team are kind of like, hey, that's your own risk. Moving on, Cowboys and Bills. Both quarterbacks I think should have phenomenal games. High-scoring game. Stephon Diggs should have a great game. Gabe Davis should have a better game. He had 0 catches, so he should have a better game. 0 catches and 0 points in 2 of his last 3 games for a fantasy football guy. That's concerning. It's very concerning. But I'm telling you, it's not something. I think that's just something that's just been happening. The Cowboys' offense, on the other hand, is rolling. CeeDee Lamb, Pollard, Cooks, Gallup's got a touchdown. Ferguson's getting to the paint. Dak Prescott's putting it all over and anywhere you want it. So look for that to continue for the Cowboys. The Bills' defense is solid, but it ain't what it used to be. And the Bills are trying to get they are pushing for a playoff spot. So this is going to be a tough game. But at the same time, I do see points. I do see a very entertaining game. I see Josh Allen using leg and feet and arm. He's going to have to use it all. If they have any chance to beat the Cowboys, they're going to have to use it all. Stephon Diggs is going to have to be involved. Dalton Kincaid, James Cook, Gabe Davis. They all have to be involved, heavily involved. Ravens and Jags, this is going to be another good game. I think this game is going to be solid. It could turn into a high-scoring affair because if you look at what the Rams did to the Ravens last week, you look at the playmakers the Jaguars have, this could be a similar situation. Odell Beckham Jr. is starting to become a weekly play. Isaiah Likely is filling in that Mark Andrews position very well. Lamar Jackson seems to be back to his regular form, so I like everybody in this game. There's not one person on either side of the way. Evan Ingram is a must play the way he's been playing. So there's not a single player for either team that I'm weary of playing. And then finally, the Eagles and the Seahawks. This game's going to be a lot closer and it's going to be a lot more contested than people think. The Eagles haven't beat the Seahawks in a very long time. The Seahawks have weapons where the Eagles struggle. The interesting thing for the Seahawks is who's going to play quarterback. Is it going to be Geno? Is it going to be Drew? Drew Lock did solid the last time out. Like I said, the Eagles' secondary is bad. So I think it's going to be very interesting of a interesting matchup: the Eagles secondary versus the Seahawks receivers. You know, but overall, guys, the first game of the playoffs is always the hardest. You know, because you get into playoffs, you start thinking, overthinking, overdoing stuff. But listen, I'm here to tell you, just do what's gotten you to this point. Just do what's gotten you to this point. Yeah, you're going to have to make some minor adjustments here and there. But overall, your lineup should be pretty much the same lineup you've been playing in most of your wins. It should be the same lineup that you've been playing for most of the year. But you just got to make a couple tweaks. Trust the process. Trust the process. It ain't over until it's over. And for every snap is an opportunity for your team to do what they got to do to put you amongst the immortals. Because that's what we're doing it for, folks. We're not doing this just to, have a reason to get out the house or have a reason to drink a beer. We do this to be amongst the immortals. Because when you're a champion, champions never die. I can tell you the champion from 6 years ago in one of my fantasy football leagues. Because champions never die. People can tell you who won the NBA Finals. Because champions never die. People have a tough time remembering the loser. My point is, do the research, trust the process, subscribe, rate, and review That Guy Jig Sports Podcast. I am him, JIG. Good luck to everyone on Sunday and Saturday this week. Good luck to everybody that made the playoffs. May the odds be in your favor. I hope you win. I hope I win. I hope we celebrate together. Once again, this is That Guy Jig Sports Podcast. I am him, JIG. And thanks for listening. This is the third installment this week. This is our 3 for 3. I'll see you next week. Peace.